Hello everybody, Raven Knight here, and today we're going to be doing something a little cool. I wanted to do this with you guys today. So today what we're going to do is we are going to take a little tour around, well, the new Cathedral Map. There we go. So what I'm doing is I'm setting up Deborah because the joke running around in my community right now is that this cathedral was actually Deborah's old church. And if you don't know what that's all about, go check out the Legend of Deborah in my Legends video series, and you'll get to hear all about that. But what I want to do today is kind of walk you around the new map and kind of tell you what I think about all of it. Now, obviously, this cathedral is built more of as a fantasy-style cathedral, so obviously it's not going to be a realistic cathedral. A lot of this is going to be fantasy, but we are going to walk around and I'm going to talk to you guys about what I think a lot of this stuff is meant to be. We're starting off on this side of the map. This is a mausoleum. This is a basically a grave site for famous people, and as you can see from these knight statues, look like probably very important knights or kings are probably buried here. Behind these walls, you'd probably see, yeah, you can actually look back there and see there are lots of grave sites. So this is a very important protected place, probably a place of high reverence. And you can see even more gravestones kind of littered around. The place looks a little overgrown. In a typical protected church, you would have people trying to clean up this area and keep it from getting this overgrown and this out of the way. But then again, Heathmore is in a state of constant war, so probably not high on their priority list. Now, looking at this looks like a storage shed of some kind. This does not look like another place of graves or of dead people. You can tell this by the amount of barrels and litter all around the place, and the fact that you can see a couple of broken down barrels and sackcloth at the door. This indicates that this place here is used for storing things, because if it were actually a place for the dead, it would be far better kept than this. Far better kept. A nice sized tree here in the middle. Let's go check out this spot. This also looks like a storage area. Again, everything's just kind of littered around. This looks like where they keep a lot of material, probably for gardening or grounds upkeep, I would argue. So this area, these two buildings look like they're primarily for the groundskeepers, while this area is where you get to the actual gravesite. Now you got some angels guarding the gravesite, which is pretty cool. You got some really cool angels holding a sword and a tablet. I like that here. Both are holding a sword and a tablet. You can even see the cross on that one, which looks awesome. And an eagle standing over it. Very, very cool. I definitely really like the look. Let's keep moving. Let's check out the view from over here. You can see a castle or fortress over in the distance, overlooking water. Pretty neat. I would doubt actually that this cathedral would be closely associated with it. You probably actually have a choir or chapel nearer to that castle, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is some ancient territory or ancient spot. Actually, it's more likely that that castle up there in the background would be more likely to be associated with this cathedral. But who knows? Who knows? Now, let's check out this building over here. Now, this may or may not be storage as well. There's not nearly as much litter around here. Stands to reason that this spot right here could very well be a actual place where you would keep the dead, or at least keep important valuables, not necessarily just upkeep tools. Now here, I really like, this is something they added. It looks like they've added a female knight holding a sword with an eagle on her hand, or a standard of some kind, if I could get a better look at that. Looks like a standard. It kind of looks like a reference to Joan of Arc, but I can't be sure. It's a very nice addition. You wouldn't see a whole lot of these in a lot of churches because usually you'd use angels and stuff like this either to represent a grave or to represent protection. So I'm guessing this is representing protection since it's just her and it's standing in front of the cathedral. That would be my guess. Moving along over here. This looks like it could be another gravesite or storage area. They got a lot of those. Guys are over here. Let's check this spot out before we go inside. Now this looks like a place of reverence. This looks like a place of reverence or meeting or discussion. You have these big old statuettes here. I don't think these are grave sites. I do not think these are grave sites. I think these are ornamentation only. Although I do like the designs. Actually, what's funny here is the swords are a little too long. Oddly enough, the shield and the sword. If they were doing a shield sword combo, they'd probably want the swords to be a little shorter than that. But tit for tat, tit for tat. Let's look over here. Nice. I really love the view here. The view here, I mean, I think we need to take more time to appreciate the view in some of these places. I think it just looks too good. And as many people have pointed out, there is a wyvern up there on top of the mountain. If you look up there where all the birds are floating, look at the very top of the mountain in between the trees, you can see a wyvern just kind of sitting there, which many people have pointed out is a callback to the Wyverndale event. And some people have said that maybe they forgot to remove that wyvern from up there. Others say that it's a hint that they're going to bring them back somehow. I do not know how they plan to do it, but there is most definitely a wyvern up there. Just thought I'd point that out, since many people have. All right. But so far, I really, really love how this place looks. And like I said, not how you'd actually see a cathedral, but still pretty stinking awesome. All right, let's go to the other side, and then we'll go inside the actual cathedral. Love this walk-around spot. This looks like a place where you'd hold like some kind of prayer meeting or discussion point. It looks like what you could even have like devotionals or sermons here. You could have the speaker standing up here and then his congregation seated around facing him over here. You could also have prayer meetings out here with this open space. You could probably pray or look up at the sky or look up at the castle and pray for the people in the fortress or look out at the sea or the mountains and do that too. Like this is definitely a place that I would consider a place of prayer or meeting or reflection, which you would definitely see nuns and priests doing on the regular. So that looks really awesome. Let's get a bird's eye view of the inside. Again, gorgeous. Now, obviously, this bridge was haphazardly thrown together. You wouldn't see this in an actual cathedral, but then again, a lot of this you wouldn't see in an actual cathedral. Now, what I find so funny here is that there are two openings through the cathedral. You wouldn't see this in most cathedrals. I mean, you can have multiple entrances to a cathedral, but usually you wouldn't have a entryway that goes straight through and out the back like this. You would have a sanctuary, and there is no sanctuary here, it looks like, at least not that I can see. But still, this is a really cool setup. It looks like it's just a straight-through cathedral. Maybe what they did was they kind of burst through here and destroyed the sanctuary. Maybe this right here was a sanctuary, and they just kind of burst through it. Or the sanctuary's on the other side. Nah, it looks like, let's get through these guys. How dare you fight, how dare you spill blood in the house of God. It's kind of funny. A lot of people have tried to tell me that the knights in For Honor are not Christian, but they have a cathedral. And you might think, well, it could be to worship other gods. No, cathedrals specifically were Catholic design and meant to worship God. And you could argue, well, maybe it's repurposed. Nah, fam. Nah, that's called coping. I know that they'll never admit it outright. I know that devs will never admit it outright, but this little nod to Christian iconography and Christian architecture. This Gothic architecture here, way past the time of the typical pagan parishes. So, yeah, this looks great. We have some more angels here holding the sword and tablet. The tablet is likely a reference to the law of God, I would say. More than likely. Let's go out to this side. This looks like our entryway into the cathedral. And as you can see, this is just gorgeous. Excellent example of Gothic architecture. It looks like something that you would see made into a church. I love the statues on either side. Once again, the women holding the sword and the tablet. Although we see this one's on fire, that's not a good sign. But what I find so interesting about this is, the sword and the tablet, I think, carries a lot of Christian idealism. The idea of defend your faith, defend your people, defend all that you're supposed to with the sword, but always carry the law with you so that when you fight, it is for the just reason. It is for a just cause. Because the Christians believe firmly that war should be just. And you can look into... I actually made a whole video on just wars, just wars and what the knights would justify as a war. I made a whole video on that. Go check that out to see what the knights would constitute as a just war. And one day I may even do a video to talk about whether or not the For Honor War constitutes as a just war in the eyes of historical knights. So, like, if the For Honor War were to actually happen, would historical knights see it as a just war? But you can see how long the cathedral is. The idea is you want to walk through the cathedral and get to the steep. Like, if you see the dome up there, that dome would indicate that's where the sanctuary is. And obviously that's not a sanctuary, but like it doesn't look like one. But I do love the elongated aspect of it. It gives more people ways to walk in. I love the way this looks, guys. This looks so good. Like, I'm not even kidding. This looks absolutely gorgeous. I hope they open up that top. I hope that in the future they open up that top walk around there. I know that it's kind of blocked off, which I hate. I hate that that's a blocked off area. Like, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Let's get up to the ladder. But you'll see that it's blocked off here by that door. And blocked off here, so we can't get to that walk around space up there. Maybe there's another way. Let's check it out. No, there is not. I thought there might be another way up, but there is not. That would have been really cool. I would have loved to walk around up there. That would have been really nice. You can also see some of the gargoyles sticking off of the sides here. Quite often you'd have those for a couple of reasons. One is to allow rainwater to pour out of the gargoyles, like you'd have a system of gutters that would allow rain to pour out the gargoyle's mouth. But another was for protection against demons. You know, like the gargoyles are meant to scare away this evil spirits and all that. A lot of superstitious reasons. But more than anything, I just think it looks really cool. And you can see all the birds floating overhead, kind of keeping an eye on things, looking for carrion to devour. Isn't that nuts? But anyway, guys, that ended the match, and I hope I got through everything for you guys. That was a lot of fun. I really do love the way the Cathedral Map looks, and I'd love to sit down with one of my Catholic buddies and talk about if any of this stuff looks like an actual Catholic design. But honestly, from what I saw, nothing here looks actually historical. A lot of it is just Gothic architecture and a lot of fantasy edition stuff, but it was really, really neat. I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, I will see you in my next video. Take care.